Daily Broadside, day 615. I think the word cobble is a great word. It's got all its iterations in perfect harmony with the world. Cobble, to kind of put things together, assemble things in a manner of what you have laying around. That's always a fun thing to do. Cobblestones, just a beautiful landscape across an old European town or something. Cobblestones always look really cool, and they're really neat unless you're in like some rustic wagon, driving on them for miles and miles. Cobbler, who doesn't love a cobbler? In fact, I just saw something last week. There is I think it's in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. There's an upcoming like Dutch oven festival, and the pictures of all the different cobblers they were making, man, you would have to roll me off of that valley, mountain, wherever that place is at. That just sounds awesome. But I'll tell you another thing that cobblers do. I used to go to a cobbler to have my shoes polished back in the day, and just because I was lazy, and polishing shoes isn't a very fun way to do it. And I also learned that when you try to polish your shoes with like a bench grinder with like a soft flap wheel, it just burns through the shoe. So I decided that best leave it up to the pros, because they obviously have different kinds of wheels that I don't have access to. I wasn't shopping at cobbler stores and all, but so I'm fascinated by cobbling, I guess you could call it. So I watch these videos on TikTok of people just like rebuilding boots and stuff. And I was watching one just last week, and the guy, and I thought it was a joke at first. I had to look these products up to make sure that they exist, but there was a hard-on adhesive and a jerk-off shoe glue. And the dude's like dipping, it's like, Odie, like primer for plumbing. He's like dipping this little dauber out of a thing of hard-on adhesive, and then he's got some jerk-off shoe glue. And I'm like, what is this guy? He's got jokes, okay. But then I look it up, and it's actual products. Y'all wild, cobblers, y'all wild. You got some crazy stuff going on. And the number one rule in fighting, no matter who you're gonna fight, and you don't get to choose that. Sometimes you just have to fight. Somebody picks something with you, and you just got to handle it, and that's great. There's nothing wrong with that. Be prepared to handle yourself, and then handle business. If you mean to hurt them mean, kind of thing, right? But here's the thing, right? The number one rule in fighting to me is to never underestimate your fighter. It doesn't matter who you're fighting, it doesn't matter why or when or whatever. And I'm not talking about like some sanctioned bout. I'm talking about just regular life. Like you go to the store and some dude just flips out and starts assaulting people. Be able to handle your shit, But you never underestimate anybody, no matter how big you are. You could be 6'10", 490, and the dude's some diminutive little Hoist Gracie guy. It doesn't matter. You don't underestimate your fighter. But I will say that there is an exception to that, and that's the Island Boys. I would pay good money to fight both Island Boys at the same time, and I'll only use one hand. I'll just tie one of my hands to my body. In fact, I could probably do it without hands. Those dudes, they look like baby birds. They're just so, they look like you would just crush them. They're so tiny, and they got that little bow-legged stance. So cute, so cute. But they talk a big game. But of course, when you have security with you all times, and those guys are like 6'4", you tend to talk a little bit louder. You tend to chirp a little bit louder than you normally would and all. And for some reason, I've gotten stuck lately on makeup talk. I don't wear makeup. I've never worn makeup. I've never put so much as anything on my face like that. I think the closest thing that I ever did to makeup was dressing up as like a punk rocker for Halloween when I was probably like 11, and spraying my hair like pink or something. Like, you could buy that hairspray that like just turns your hair a certain color. That might be the closest thing to makeup I've ever come. But yet, for the last few weeks, everything on my TikTok is just makeup this, makeup that. And I'm like, I don't want to see this. I don't care anything about makeup. If I was a girl, I wouldn't care anything about makeup. I just don't think that any of that would interest me. It would be too cumbersome to deal with every day of my life. And it can't be good putting all that crap on your face. In fact, I was watching Tosh interview a... what do you call those RuPaul people? A cross-dresser. Cross-dresser? I don't think that's the right word. No, I don't think it's a cross-dresser. It's a drag queen. There you go. And he was interviewing a drag queen last week or whatever, and they were talking about, he was talking about how just like horrible it is for your skin to put all that crap on your face so many times a week, which I can completely understand. I don't know if you've seen these fake violin players in the parking lots of America. It's usually like gypsies and stuff, a bunch of foreigners, and they'll just and they're playing the violin, and it's hooked up to just a speaker, and they're not playing anything. They're just acting like they're playing. They're playing air violin, and people are giving them money thinking that they're playing. I just want to run into one of these people, because I would walk up so fast and just unplug the 1/4 inch jack going into the amplifier, and then just see what they do. Just hold up the cord, call their roost, because it's hard for me to believe that people actually buy this stuff, and there's nothing they can do about that. You can't do anything about it. There's nothing illegal about unplugging an amp. That's just the thing, right? And I find myself anytime I go, like, I'm very torn, because there's a lot of great places to eat where I live that only serve craft beer. And I'm not a craft. I don't want like cauliflower, pomegranate beer. I can't get into that crap. I don't like all that hoppy taste. IPAs make me want to throw up. I don't even understand what India Pale Ale means. I'm just like a straight, like, lager, like, domestic beer guy, right? Yingling, Shiner Bock, Miller Lite, Bud Light if it's draft, just the normal stuff. I love Dos Equis, just normal. Tecate's cool. I don't need all these fancy frou-frou beers, and it annoys me, because every time I go to one of these places that has great food, yet all they serve is these craft beers, I always feel like a dork, because I'm telling the chick, I'm like, what is the closest thing to Miller Lite that you have? And then it rarely is. So I'm torn going to those places, but I just can't get my palate to be into that crap. But more power to you, I guess, if you can. Giddy up. Have a good Sunday.